So tomorrow we're going to be doing a little bit of cooking, and I'd like to actually get the overlander ready for that, because before I cook, I like to cook on fresh, clean surfaces. I like to have a fresh, clean tank, but also it's just in your benefit to clean it and maintain it, because maintenance is a lot cheaper than repairs. And what I mean by that, well, the thing is that we cook. When we cook our protein, you know, the moisture that comes off of that protein is acidic. And then you have the salt that you have in your rubs or your brines or what have you that fall into the bottom of the cook chamber. And that's basically what's going to eat away at the bottom, right? And if it gets to a point where we have to repair it, it's going to be much more costly. The other thing too is inside the firebox, your ash that's left behind from your coal bed or your firewood after you finish burning, once it gets a little bit of moisture in there, you're going to get what's called lye, or it creates lye, and that tends to burn into your steel as well. The other thing too is that you're going to have water in there, right, from the moisture inside your cook chamber and moisture that's going to get inside the firebox just from it being connected, and you're going to get mold in there. So you want to be able to clean it out. You want a nice, good, fresh start every time you go. You don't want anything else introduced into your cook chamber that you don't want to eat. And I'm going to show you step by step just how I clean my smoker pit. Starting with the outside, we're going to pressure wash it. Just basically knock off all the loose dirt, wipe it down, clean it. And I'm going to just give it a scrub. We're going to hit it with a pressure washer. Now, this is one thing that I will tell you guys. Invest in a small pressure washer. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything grandiose. Just get something small. Doesn't have to have like this super crazy PSI. But something that's going to help you knock off, you know, like some of the debris, you know, some of the drippings on the side of the smoker pit. But one thing in particular is that when you're cooking, the food particles that get left behind on your cooking grates, that's what you're going to need to get out. That's what you really want to get off. And I'll tell you what, doing it by hand, having to scrub that down, it still doesn't come off as good. But I'm going to show you how you get that off with a simple pressure washer, and then what you got to do after you're done pressure washing it, okay? So again, we're going to go step by step, but let's go ahead and get started on this 200-gallon overlander. So one of the things that you want to pay special attention to is going to be the inside of your firebox. Essentially, what you want to do is just get all this lye out, right? Like, I mean, not lye, but the ash. Because if it starts getting too much moisture, that coal ash from your firewood, when it gets water in it or it gets moisture, it creates lye. That's L-Y-E. And lye is going to be what's going to damage the inside of your firebox. So we're going to go ahead and clean this out before we start doing anything else. Let's go ahead and just get this as thorough as we can. And I'm going to show you what I use. And these work really good, so you'll see. Pretty much that's what you want to do. Just get the majority of that ash out. What I'm going to do is when I get the pressure washer on, I'm going to go ahead and spray some water in there, and we'll tilt it and we'll tip it back this way just so that all flows out and we get it out. When we're done pressure washing, at the very end, we're going to spray the inside with cooking oil. You can just get like some very inexpensive those cans of cooking spray. Shoot it on the inside, but you'll see what we do. But that's what we're going to do when we're done cleaning this out, because we don't really want it to flash rust all that much, and that cooking spray is going to help with that tremendously. Now the inside of this smoker pit isn't super dirty, like there isn't a lot of drippings on the inside, but I am going to show you how we scrape it out. The best thing you can use is like a drywall spatula. What you want to do is essentially just scrape the sides out, get all the heavy debris, like the food debris, the seasoning, the fat that's in there that's collected, that's puddled, and then take it out. From there, once you finish doing that, we're just going to wipe it down with a rag. It's almost like seasoning a cast iron pot and pan. You don't want to exactly remove all the grease. You could pressure wash it to get some of the debris off, but the pressure wash, unless you introduce some soap in there, it's not going to get it out, and you're going to have to scrub tremendously. We just want to get food debris out because we don't want it I mean, it's just gross, man, right? It's old food that's been in there. So we're gonna get all that out, and we're gonna wipe everything down with some rags. You may wanna use gloves for this part, and you might get a little dirty, so don't be afraid. And I'm gonna pull these racks out really quick and I'm gonna show you what they look like. Let me get some gloves. So this is one that we've used. You can see it's got some food debris on it, not super bad. We didn't cook a whole bunch, but I'm gonna show you what it looks like after, all right? Okay, here's the other one. This one's pretty much full of food debris. And the last one. So before we can get to the pressure washing part, we got to do all the heavy lifting. You can see, like, this is just like seasoning rub from when we were cooking. Now I did have the drain open while I was cooking, and of course there's not a whole lot of buildup, but we want to get all this off. We want to get all this out right here, and then I'm going to show you. We're going to wipe it down, and we'll probably hit it lightly with the pressure washer. You know, we're not trying to blast off that oil that's in there, but rather create a surface that's so thin that it allows the water to dry and evaporate, and it doesn't just sit here inside the tank. We're just scraping it, not a whole lot. But you can see what I've got so far. You want to get all that out, okay? And of course, the more times you do this, the better off you are, because it'll be much easier every single time. As you can see already, position my camera, you can see already how much better that looks. So like I said, we're going to go ahead and wipe it down now with some rags, get that little last of that debris, and then we'll go from there. We use these right here, the Scott rags in a box. You're just mainly in there to scrub it and scrape it. All right, so you just want to get all that off. This gives you another opportunity to get a little bit more of the food debris. Look, guys, and don't look for perfection. Just short of having this sandblasted, you're never going to get all this grease out. The most important part is to get the moisture out, because the moisture is acidic and it gets trapped in the grease fat, the fat that comes off of your protein. And if that's just sitting in there, remember, your grease always floats to the top. So your water's at the bottom constantly in contact with the steel. So what we're trying to do is we create this very thin layer to allow whatever water to evaporate, and it goes away, and then all you're left behind is the oil, basically like your beef tallow, if you will. And that's going to coat the inside of the tank, and it's going to keep it seasoned, and it's going to actually keep it from rusting faster than it should. Okay, so that's what we want to do. All right, that's all we're doing. All right, so now that the messy part's pretty much done, we scraped out as much as we could. And like I said, if you got a little bit left over, man, I mean, look, don't worry about it too much. But the cleaner you can get it, the better, obviously. You just don't want all that nasty, heavy, old oil that's been in there, that grease, the drippings, and just that food debris that might have gotten caught. So this is pretty much ready. We're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna shut it. I'm gonna wash the outside of it really quick, get all the dust off. I'm gonna use a pressure washer, plus my little scrubbing thing with a little bit of soap. And then that'll clean it up, and then we'll move on to the cooking grates, because I know that's the part that you really want to see, and that's the part that I really want to show you, just so you can see the benefits of using a pressure washer and getting those cooking grates clean every single time. And I'm gonna tell you what, it isn't gonna take you any time. So if all you do at a very minimum is clean your cooking grates before you cook, you'll see just how little time it takes. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and I'm gonna time lapse all this part for you, and then we'll jump back on when we get to the cooking grates. Pretty basic, pretty simple on the outside. A little bit of soap, water, just rinse it off, wash it. You just want to get all the dust off that you got on there. Now we're going to go ahead and work on the inside, and we're going to go ahead and start with pressure washing the cooking grates. And then while I got the pressure washer on, I'm going to go ahead and give it a little bit of blast right here on the inside just to knock off any loose debris that's there, and then leave the tank open, let it dry out. Okay, check it out.
I know it might be a little hard to see, but I mean, there's no food debris on these cooking grates now.
And that's a fast way to do it. I mean, you saw exactly how long it took, and it's very effective. You don't have to get too dirty, you know, getting your hands all oily or having to put on gloves or use like like some rags, you know, some sponges that are just going to get greasy and you're going to have to throw away, and then your significant other is just going to be super pissed at you for using them. So anyways, they're clean, they're done. We can cook fresh on them. Once they draw off a little bit, I am going to go ahead and spray it, but let me go ahead and shoot the inside of the tank, and then we'll go ahead and wrap this all up. Got a couple of key takeaways. It's super important to clean your pit, right? Every single time, or at least as often as you can. I know that, you know, we got busy schedules, but look, I equate to a dirty pit the same as I would think of eating food on a dirty dish, right? We can all say that it adds flavor and whatever, but none of us is going to eat on a dirty plate that we ate on yesterday. The same thing applies to your smoker pit. Clean your cooking grates. At a very minimum, clean the cooking grates where your protein or your food's going to be touching. You don't want that old food that was on there to get on your new protein. Just get rid of it, you know. So the easiest way to do it, obviously, get a pressure washer and hit it and clean it. You saw that it took about 5 minutes to clean those cooking grates. And if, you know, again, if you don't have a pressure washer, you know, you can go to a car wash and pay, you know, like $1 or something, spray them down, put them up beside the little wall right there and just hit them, you know, and then you got some good clean cooking grates. You can even clean your smoker pit at the car wash if it's on a trailer. Be sure that you take out all the fat and the water that came out of the protein. You don't want that acidic moisture in there eating away along with the salt. And inside your firebox, you want to clean all the ashes out, because if it gets moisture, if it gets wet, it will create lye. Lye is what damages metal. It will rust out metal much faster at accelerated speed than it normally would if it didn't. So just be sure to wipe it out, you know, and then once you're done, you can just take a damp rag, wipe it down, and then hit it with some cleaner. So we're going to let this dry out for a little bit, and then we're going to spray the cooking grates though with some cooking oil as well as inside the firebox, and then that'll be done, man. But that is basically how I clean my smoker pit, guys. Take it for what it is. If you want to clean your own smoker pit, this is just one way to do it. Obviously, there are a lot of different ways. People do things differently, but this just so happens to work for me, and hopefully it works for you guys. But look, if you guys got any questions, if you're looking for a smoker pit that you want to clean like this, so let me know. We can help you guys out. We're at the corner of Rouse Street and Highway 90 in Brookshire, Texas. We're about 35 miles west of Houston, just off of Interstate 10. So again, if you are looking for a smoker pit, we're centrally located in the United States, and we can ship them all over Texas, but we can ship them all the way to the East Coast, West Coast, wherever you're at, guys. And look, and if you've got the will and the skill, but not the dollar bill, let my banking partner help you out, guys. And don't forget, everybody, we're your prime barbecue company. Peace.